I've been playing Entry Point since 2018, and I was there when every single mission came out. But as much as I love this game, I can't say I love every mission equally. And that's why today I'm going to be ranking every single mission from worst to best. This isn't about difficulty, but about how well designed they are. A good mission should provide a fun and varied experience with a challenge that feels fair instead of just being tedious. Anyway, let's get started. At number 16, last place, we have the Black Site. The layout in this mission is just a lot of waiting. You have to wait at the cell block, you have to wait for the blast door, and then you have to wait again. For how big this map is, it really doesn't have a lot of action. The stealth I do think is better, and hot take, I actually like the restricted area, but I understand that playing it safe is just way too slow. For me, the bigger issue is the spawn area and how the meta strategy is climbing the crate, which requires a physics bug, and that just seems like bad design. Otherwise, the rest of the mission is just kind of whatever. Number 15 is the Kill House, and I feel really bad putting this mission so low because I know this has a lot of significance. Like, this is the place where Entry Point basically became what it is. But the Loud is just really simple and easy. Yes, Nightmare mode exists, but that's more of a lore thing. The gameplay takes way too long. Then the Stealth is basically just the loop house because there's no camera operator on Legend, so you just have to keep looping over and over, and I just don't find it that fun. It's a cool mission, but it just doesn't accomplish what the rest of the missions on this list do. At number 14, we have the Withdrawal, and this may be shocking for some of you, but hear me out. The Loud, I think, has a good start. I like the stuff with the Thumper, but Sparrow is just way too slow. And defending is really easy, so you're just there waiting for like 4 minutes, and it is not fun. On Stealth, if you're playing by yourself, the last part takes a very long time, especially without Engineer. But even before that, the power boxes can be really frustrating depending on your RNG. Overall, this mission is okay. At number 13, we have the Score. I know a lot of people hate this one because it's difficult, but it does have a lot of unique mechanics, like the SWAT vans and the sniper section. With the right team, this mission is actually pretty fun, but the lack of cover and how much the gold bags slow you down do make it pretty tedious. While this isn't part of the ranking, pretty much any daily challenge on this mission is painful, so I understand why some people would put this in last place. Number 12 is the Lake House. The stealth gameplay is pretty fun. I like how clearing the inside works. The issue is less so the timer, but rather that there's a timer and you also have to waste like over a minute in the basement. If not for this shotgun bug, that would take even longer, which is just bad design. I also hate that there's a window here because it makes what should be a safe spot totally unreliable. The Loud I think is pretty okay, at least you don't have to wait for Sparrow in this one. Now, the gunship is a unique mechanic. The issue is it just has way too much health, especially if you're on solo, and I don't like how big the discrepancy is between killing it with grenades and killing it with an actual gun. If you're legit enough to aim the grenades, then it goes by super fast, otherwise it's painfully slow, and I don't think that's very fair. Coming in at number 11 is the auction. Now, I don't have a lot to say about this mission, it's pretty chill, but also kind of easy. My main issue is this door right here, because if a guard comes to this spot, the door will automatically open, and if you happen to hostage the auctioneer at that time, then oops. I just hate how RNG can totally screw over your run, and it feels like a serious oversight. Aside from the RNG, the mission doesn't provide much of a challenge, so I can't justify putting it any higher. Kicking off our top 10 is the Gala. I actually quite like this mission, especially the first few parts. It has a very classic entry point feel to it, but does it in a better way than the Kill House in my opinion. I also like some of the features, like bringing back the crowbar, which is very underused, as well as the speech, even though I normally don't do it. Where this mission falls short for me is that once you've laid the groundwork, the end is repetitive and there's just too many artifacts, which makes it kind of slow in solo. Next up, at number 9, we have the Science Cent. I mean, the Scientist. This mission gets too much hate in my opinion. I actually quite like the stealth, how you're supposed to keep track of everyone and wait for an opening. That being said, it's true that if you want to play it safe, the start can be pretty slow without good RNG. On loud, the USB is way too slow, but at least having a hacker will speed it up significantly. I also like how proximity mines actually become useful in this mission. However, if the enemies do get the outside power box, then getting it back is seriously painful. Though I guess that's also kind of the point. Number 8 is the setup. This is a really chill mission. I really like the skylight and the gimmick with the alarms. It's also really satisfying just taking everyone out. Overall, this mission doesn't really have any problems, but once you take everyone out, you've basically already won, which makes the rest of it kind of redundant. At number 7, we have the lockup. Now, this mission has a lot of flaws, but I believe it has enough redeeming qualities to put it this high. In multiplayer, you can just lock down the place and prevent units from going inside at all, which is very unique. Unless your teammates don't do their job, then the units get inside. But anyway, it's a really cool feature. By far, the biggest issue is just how long it takes to get all the weapons, especially in solo. But at least the helicopter is decently fast, so the loud is okay overall. On stealth, this is one of my favorites because while you can't exactly take out everyone, I like how you can sort of just go in and start hostage and interrogating people and get a disguise, as opposed to like luring for a disguise with the camera outside or something like that. If you got all the files and interrogated enough people, you don't have to do any trial and error at the end, but the phone is kind of annoying. At number 6, we have the financier. Ever since I remade my stealth guide, I've been a lot more comfortable with this mission. I think it's really balanced and it has just the right amount of difficulty in different methods. I mean, luring Ryan is basically an art. If it was just stealth, it would be higher, but the loud is kind of tedious at the start because the meta strategy is interrogating Ryan, and if you fail or just don't feel like waiting that long, finding the safe takes way too long depending on your RNG, especially solo. While the helicopter part is literally just waiting in the same spot, I actually think it does it a lot better than some other missions because units can come from different directions and you also have to watch out for the snipers, which makes it a lot more active than something like the black site. At number 5, we have the deposit. As the first mission you play, it is pretty easy, but there's actually quite a bit to it. Since there's a lot of NPCs and also civilians outside, you can't just take everyone out. There's also 2 camera operators, and there's quite a few different objectives, which makes it pretty engaging throughout the whole mission. You can also do Plan B stealth and lower difficulties, which is crazy. But anyway, on loud, this mission introduced Thermite, which is iconic, and it's the only mission where hostages are actually useful. There's also Plan A Loud, which isn't essential but does let you take the money. Overall, this may be an easy mission, but it's undoubtedly one of the best designed ones in the game. Next up, at number 4, we have the cache. I know a lot of people hate on this mission, and I'm gonna be blunt, I think that's mostly a skill issue, because with the right strategies, this mission is totally doable, but it does present a pretty fun challenge. Because of the takedown limit, you can't just cheat by taking everyone out, and you have to be strategic about who you take out. Additionally, the timers for getting the keypad and also the security team mean you don't just have infinite time to plan what you're going to do, and you're forced to make quick decisions. However, there is one RNG trap you have to watch out for, and it does feel like an oversight. Starting our top 3, is probably the least played mission in the game, Concept. And if you haven't played this one, you're missing out. This mission has a ton of mechanics that make every single class useful in stealth, including Mercenary. I really like how much freedom you have to choose different classes and methods, but I understand that it can be really overwhelming if you're playing this for the first time. The map is also huge, which in a sense is good because it has a lot of content and features, but that does also slow down the mission quite a bit. And number two, we have the SCRS. On Stealth, this mission has a lot of unique features and a lot of variety. There's the janitor area, which is unique. You have to deal with the weapon scanners and, of course, the agents. Even though the map is only somewhat big, there's still a lot to do. And it is just the right amount of difficulty. On Loud, this mission really perfects the entry point formula. Instead of one big wait timer, there's three smaller ones, and you actually have to defend and move around, which makes it a lot more fun. The gunship is a lot easier than the lake house one, but honestly, I don't have any problem with that. Finally, number one, the best mission in entry point is Black Dusk. On Loud, this mission has a really strong start, and then there's just a lot of mechanics. You can take the vents, you can use Thermite or the control room, and if you're in multiplayer, you can even split up and do different objectives at the same time, which is really cool. As much as I have problems with the Onyx unit from a lore standpoint, I do actually like the gameplay. It's also one of the best stealth missions. There's a ton of different mechanics, and you technically don't need to bring anything or use any class in particular. Overall, this is undoubtedly where entry point peaked. Anyway, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more entry point and operators content, and I'll see you guys next time.